Hi, Stacey, it's Nicole.
Hello.
Hello.
Point number 9 was, how could you have submitted the assessment on the 20th police meeting was until 24th?
Oh, what was that? Oh, sorry, I put that down as point 11.
Do you want me to go through? Do you want me to go through them?
Yeah, let me go through it. Hang on, let me just pull up the... Hold on, let me just scroll up. Point 1 was
The start
about
date.
where it was the 30th of July.
Yeah.
Point 2 was about the consent and about the hospital GP appointment.
Yeah.
Point 3 was about section 47.
Yeah.
Point 4 was about, in that section, why it didn't mention about the harassment charge.
Yeah.
Point 5 I've got was about, again, about the consent.
Yeah.
Point 6 was about where it says about you not unable to consider your dad as a risk.
Mm.
Yeah. Point 7 I've got as about the support from your family.
Yeah.
Yeah. Point 8 I've got as the bit about in the what further information about the police not having enough evidence, that bit.
Yeah.
Point 9 is what I'm missing, but point 10 I've got about, you said about the sexual abuse.
Yeah.
Point 11 I've got about the date that the assessment was finished.
No, point 11. Point 11 was Chloe's dad.
Oh, right, I've got that as point 12. What, is there any other points after point?
No, Harry was the last point.
Oh, okay, so there was 11 points.
And there was something else. Let me see if I can find.
That's everything I'd written down.
Yeah, I know. There was something else I forgot to mention.
Yeah.
Dad, where's that? What? There it is. Let me read through it. It was about the consent form about the doctors and everything.
You did say that one. You said about that you told us about...
No, this is on a different. This was on a different thing. I need to think what I was gonna say.
All right. You want to have a think and ring me back if that's easier?
It's about. I think it was about a set. Oh yeah. I have to. On this, it says I need it in writing if you're gonna start calling my college and visit and everyone else and everything else. If you're gonna have meetings with health visit and that, you need to write to me about it.
Right. Okay. So in future,
I needed consent about it because to be honest, I got no consent about it. It was you just said to me, we're going for a meeting tomorrow. Oh no, we had the meeting. We called your college. We called everyone, and I don't understand why college needed to be involved anyway because it's absolutely nothing to do with them.
Right, and at that point we weren't clear exactly what was the situation with college, and I know you wanted to possibly consider going back. Yeah.
And Clay's doctors. How comes you've been through Clay's doctors record? We've not been through his doctor's records. That's just recorded on our system as to what doctors he is registered with. So how comes you know that he went about his chest because of the damp? Because I never mentioned that.
That was from... Hang on.
Because I never told anyone that. That was just going to the doctors.
We may have... Let me just have a look. Hold on, let me just save him. Because when it went into section 47, we can then do checks. We did do one with the GP. And that was where
so when it goes, you can put it to a section 47 and go through Clay's doctor's records.
We write to them and request information from them for our assessment.
Well, I'll be taking that up with them because I don't agree with that. I believe that you should have had my permission to go through. You would have had to go through Clay's doctor's records, but I don't feel it's right that you should have asked. What was the point of asking if you was already going to go through it anyway?
We weren't already going to go through them. That was a decision that was made afterwards. At the first strategy meeting that we had on the 21st of October, that was where that decision was made. Actually, we needed to gather a little bit more information, and because it went into section 47, we can undertake checks without consent from families. But we only did. I'll get up because we didn't do checks with everybody.
But you got told not to put it to a section 47 anyway. When you went to that meeting, you got told that you've got no grounds for the section 47 just because you couldn't get hold of me. No,
it wasn't. It was to do with obviously being unable to clarify the information in regards to why you'd gone to hospital.
And you still went through it anyway because you knew everything to do with why I went to hospital, and I'd not given permission.
That's because we'd elevated it to the section 47.
On what grounds?
But on what grounds? What, that I left Clay with Dad while I got rushed to hospital?
Well, we didn't know the situation at that point because we'd been unable to get hold of yourself.
But you've been through Dad's blog, so you did know. My dad had written why I'd got taken to hospital.
But that was just information from there. We obviously couldn't clarify that with you or with a hospital without having spoken to them, and that was the management decision.
It said when you came home.
Right.
What I can do is ask Julie to give you a ring.
I'm just not happy that it went through Clay's documents and everything like that. You should have had, but I believe you should be asking me to go through my son's doctor's records.
Well, they asked you and they did it anyway.
Like you asked, like you had, and no, you asked to go through mine. You didn't ask to go through Clay's. You asked to go through mine. You never ever asked me to go through Clay's. It was just, can you go? You wanted me to sign to go through my doctor's.
It would have been about yourself and about Clayton, because obviously we're children's social workers.
So you did it. You did it anyway. You asked me. I said no, and you did it.
But as I explained, there was the reasons behind why we did it. It wasn't, we didn't just think, oh, well, because she said no, we're going to do that anyway.
You had no reason to elevate to a section 47.
And I believe there was no reason to put it to a section 47, and I want writing if there's going to be more meetings with my health visitor, because on that letter it says you need to write to me and tell me that you are having a meeting with health visitor, with college, with everyone.
Okay.
And why wasn't you offered that before?
Why did no one write to me before about it? Because I wouldn't have known anything unless I'd read that letter. On that letter it says before you can do anything like that, you need to write to me and tell me and have my permission. It's like the consent guide to parents, like if you're going to complain, if it says before you do any of that, you need to write to me.
It says it on that form you've got.
And yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, on that form. It says it on there that you need to write to me and tell me. When I never got that, it was just, it was like, we're going for a meeting now. We've been through the health visitors, the college, and things like that. I never got offered if I wanted it to be with my college and things like that.
Right. When we have the strategy meeting, we have that with, and sometimes that's usually help. But obviously we weren't able to get hold of you on that Friday. And so a management decision had been made that we needed to gather some further information from professionals to make a decision about how we move forward.
I don't think that's right. Everything that's been done, it's been made without my consent, really. Doctors' records, meetings about me. You've got to remember, none of this is about me. This isn't to do with me. As my dad has said, I would not be in this position unless it was for him. So why there's meetings about me going on, I don't know, and especially as it's all been done out of my consent.
Right. The meetings, they're to share information so that we can assess the risk posed to Clayton. That's why the meetings came. So it's not about your parenting of Clayton, and as I said, you know, we've been...
What risk would that be? Because you know Clay's in no risk.
Pardon?
What risk would that be? Because you know as well that Clay's in no risk.